NBA. Rivals weekend continued across the NBA.
One got half, one trying to grow.
Is that me?
It was headlined by Devin Booker and Luka Doncic.
I had a moment. I was like, wait, y'all doing a graphics?
It's pretty close. Face it off in Dallas. Richard Jefferson, I guess, reffing that game.
Oh, man.
Luka making some trick shots pregame. Let's get down to what happened.
Last time we saw Luka smile.
It would keep that Luka magic at least early, right, Chiney, in the first quarter here.
Yeah, he was smiling in the first half. I mean, he's so tremendous. Number 2 overall in the NBA in made threes. He's been shooting the ball so well. He was locked in. He was aggressive. He was passing. He was their everything.
He had 24 points in the first half. Luka for 3. Yep, that one is good as well. So he was feeling himself a little bit early on here. Rich, let's go to the third quarter.
Ooh,
Devin Booker and the Suns.
It's so fun when the rabbit got the gun. Because right now, Devin Booker, we know about the little big back and forth that they've had. Luka comes out, leads his team, but this third quarter by Devin Booker was perfection. On the road, spacing, look, quality shots, getting quality looks, you get quality drops right there. That's what you call a shooter's touch. Look at his numbers in the third.
22 points in the third on 82% shooting, but of course, Kevin Durant, he had to get his too. Little J from Book.
Oh, yeah, KD go do his thing, but
look at that shot.
This was all about D-Book, and look at KD setting them up perfectly.
Booker finished with 46 points. The Suns get the win, 132-109. That's after Luka went off in the first. And let's just say it, I mean, Kevin Durant, Devin Booker, they're pretty good. They're the second duo to each have multiple 40-point games in a 4-game span. The Suns, they were 11th on Christmas, and now 1 month later, they're 5th. So, Richard, if they keep playing like this, how far are the Suns going in the postseason?
Look, I think, to me, they are a conference finalist contender. If you were to ask me what their ceiling is, it's the conference finals. To go to the NBA Finals, the amount of team now, they don't have a complete roster. There are things that they have lacking. They've given away a lot of their assets that would allow them to bring in new pieces to fill out their roster, so they're probably going to have to wait till the offseason, in my opinion. But this team can get it to a conference finals. This team has that ability, and in their first full year together, I think that's a compliment.
This may sound crazy.
It is.
Oh, we're ready.
This may sound crazy. But a team that has Kevin Durant, Bradley Beal, and Devin Booker, this team feel like a sleeper in the West, right? Like, you actually could call it, because
That's not crazy.
No, because you just said their ceiling is the conference finals, so obviously you don't have them picked to win the West.
No.
Do you have them picked to win the West?
So you're basically saying they're a sleeper to win it all this year?
Yeah, and it shouldn't be that way. Like, when they made this trade for Bradley Beal, we already knew that they were going to be top-heavy, but they have 3 of the most prolific, efficient scorers to ever play the game of basketball, along with one of the guys that's considered an all-time great and one of the best in the game today. So, like, it's fair to say that they are a sleeper, because if they upset or beat a Denver Nuggets or the Clippers that we have ranked ahead of them.
Answer the question.
What?
What's the question? How far do you think, is it a sleeper to go someplace? I'm saying, where do you think their ceiling is?
Their ceiling is the conference finals.
So
the conference finals.
Yeah, I'm with you. I'm not arguing with you, but that still shouldn't be their goal just because we said that's their
But it makes sense. It makes sense. I agree. Conference finals, that is their potential, the realistic potential for right now. I do think they could be a sleeper to come out of the West. Based off of what we've seen in the last 7 games, if they keep this momentum up, they have a top 10 defense. But do you guys realize that this is the hottest? What'd you say?
I said, thank you. Somebody with sense.
Oh, yeah. I don't know if I want that. You
Malika,
know,
you going to take that, Malika? You going to take that, Malika?
But I know, right? But do you all realize that this is probably the best shooting we've seen in the offensive game in a very, very long time? They're number 1 in the last 7, which is their win streak, in field goal percentage. But get this. They have 2 of the best 3-point shooters right now. Do you want to guess who's number 1 on that list?
Grayson Allen.
Good job.
Leading the
Correct.
league in
49%. KD, career-high 3-point percentage. They're snipers, not just KD and his name, but the entire roster. So if they keep this up and manage their defense, they have the tools.
Matt Ishbia doesn't want to hear this, though.
They want to win it all.
They want to win it all.
Right.
When they traded for Kevin Durant, when all of
I want a full head of hair.
like 6'9".
Look at the reality
I want to lose weight. I mean, there's a lot of things we want in life.
I'm good.
That's absolutely true.
One of us can control the hair and weight.
But I'm just saying, did you think that you were going to have the same chance of growing a full head of hair as they have to go to the finals? When they traded for Kevin
I was the
Durant?
first one to say it. I was like, look, one, we were talking about who was going to run point. Devin Booker answered that. He was outstanding. They've done a great great job of distributing the ball. That was one. The next part is they don't have a very good, they don't have the depth, they don't have the bench. They at times, they don't even have the size. So they're a very good team. And this is the thing. If they were to go to the NBA Finals, everybody on this panel would say that
we wouldn't be surprised.
No, we wouldn't be surprised, but we would believe that they are overachieving based off of what they have. If they were to win a championship, I would say that they are overachieving compared to the other teams in the complete roster. If they were to play against the Boston Celtics with that depth, that size, and they were to beat the Celtics, it's because those top three averaged 25 across and everybody else played out.
It was his interaction with a fan that became a point of contention after the game. So our Tim McMahon reported that Luka Doncic asked security to eject a Suns fan who was sitting 2 rows behind the midcourt press section. And the comment the fan made that drew Luka's wrath, was, "You're tired, get your behind on the treadmill." So following the loss, he used a different word. Luka took exception to being asked about this incident.
I know I saw you when you said about the fan, That was not a true all. That was not the only thing he said. But I knew you would be the first one to point out something like that. I'm not going to say what he said, but I knew you were going to be the first one to put out something like that. So I just saw it, man. It's just funny. You always seem to be the first one to put some bad stuff about me.
Why did you ask for the fan to be ejected?
Because he was cursing me the whole first half, too.
Why didn't you ask for him to be ejected in the first half, then?
Because I never would eject a fan. They pay for tickets, but I had enough, It's a little bit of frustration.
You turned your head and looked over at him after he said that. That's what we saw.
Yeah, that's fine. Be the bad guy in the media, right? It's all right.
Okay, so there's a whole lot going on there. Our Tim McMahon just put on social media just clarifying.
A man like me.
The fan left on his own terms. Is he being too sensitive?
Hell yeah, he's being too sensitive. Look, at the end of the day, you know why that fan didn't get ejected and he just left? Because they was getting their ass blown out. The game was over. So he's like, oh, look, I don't want any heat. Last 3 minutes.
He said, I'm good.
I'm good. I
saw my team do their
what I
do their
needed
thing.
to see.
I saw my team do their thing.
And look, Luka, he didn't even address the question. He's like, I knew you were going to be the one that asked me those questions talking about Tim McMahon. And you're just like, look, at the end of the day, Luka comes from a place where they play basketball, where they have flares going on. It is crazy in Europe. To say that an individual was cussing all day, he said it might have been a little bit of frustration. I heard 10 paragraphs. There was one sentence that I heard, and that goes, it might have been a little bit of frustration.
You know what I did on Sunday?
What'd you do?
Did y'all know what I did on Sunday?
What did you do?
I actually went to church, and I went and heard my good brother Pastor Keon. And you know what was the theme for that Sunday?
A little bit of frustration?
Purpose, right? And so Luka walking into that arena last night, his purpose wasn't to get that fan thrown out of the game or get into it with the fan. His purpose wasn't to get into it with Tim McMahon after the game. That was a distraction. His purpose was to go in there and, because it's rivalry week, to go at Devin Booker and get a win. But the problem is that the guy on the other end had a purpose, okay? And D-Book. And so D-Book walked into his house, didn't knock on the door, didn't take off his shoes, sat on his couch, turned on his TV, watched what he wanted to watch, and he ordered a 46-piece wing dinner from Buffalo Wild Wings. And you know the killer part about it?
What?
You know what he did? He used Luka credit card because he DoorDashed it. He DoorDashed it. So that was the problem, right? Luka's purpose was to get at D-Book, who, by the way, Devin Booker owns that matchup in their career. He's 10-3 against Luka Doncic. That was his frustration.
Did he turn the AC down? Did he turn the AC down?
He had the fan blowing and everything.
Yeah, everything.
He did
the toes out.
everything he wanted to do. He missed 6 shots.
Look, yes. I think the difference here is that there were 2 guys with purpose, and one of the guys, Devin Booker, had his team with him. And they have a mission right now, the Suns. We've seen what they've done the last few games. As it pertains to Luka, he's doing so much for the Dallas Mavericks. I mean, number 2, 33 points per game in scoring. Like, he's holding them down without Kyrie in certain circumstances.
Last night, Kyrie was out,
But I think we're all like, every year we come in and say, this is a guy that's an MVP caliber guy. Is this a team that's going to really take them over the edge? It feels like there's this idea, this aura of comfortability where it's like, okay, this distraction is an excuse. It's a deflection from what actually our team is.
Sure.
We have great expectations for Luka Doncic, and he's doing most, if not all. The only thing is the intangibles, staying focused. We've seen so many games from the last year to this year where there's a foul call. He's got a mean stare down.
43 techs, right, over the last 3 seasons?
Exactly. But those techs, you can even see they tend to be late in game. I know certain times, like this was a blowout, but like they're late in game and they dictate the outcome.
Yeah.
He has to avoid those to provide the leadership.
And it's not just here in the league. When you look at when he was playing international basketball this summer, right? He had a moment where he was kicked out, and so it's like, look, when you have that amount of usage rate, right? For a guy, you might miss 1 or 2 foul calls for a player over the court. When you are a guy that has that amount of usage rate, yeah, there might be 4 or 5 just because you're involved in every single play. But for me, Luka, if you're going to elevate your team to a championship team,
right.
And I don't think they have a championship roster. No Kyrie, so we're not going to put too much stock in the game. But what I heard,
yes,
it was
Yes, we are. It's rivalry week.
It's rivalry. Devin Booker and him, they went to tell.
We're going to put a lot of stock into
with your own
But Book had help.
Yeah, but I'm saying,
Book had help.
But I'm saying, Book had help in the sense that he wasn't having to chase around a Kyrie last night.
Yeah.
And so there is an element of like, look, Book showed up, did his job. Luka was a little frustrated, and we saw how it manifested, but it's manifested in that manner multiple times in other areas, mainly with Tex.
Yep.
That's what's worrying.
Real quick, Perk, do you think that Luka is going to have to get this, and I put the arguing with the refs, I don't want to put too much stock into this one incident, but this under control before he's going to be able to get to that next level?
I mean, I feel like we keep talking about this year after year.
So, yes.
At some point, real quick, if a person show you who they are, you got to believe them. So, I mean, like, we don't want him to change his mindset and tenacity here. I led the league in text for 3 straight years.
And he says that
right here.
proudly.